This is Eyewitness News on LA56 with live breaking news.
We begin at 7 o'clock with breaking news. A fatal ambush on 2 New York police officers now connected to another shooting in Maryland in what appears to be an anti-cop massacre.
A mountain lion caught on camera in a residential backyard. Hear from the homeowner who spotted the animal.
There will be no NFL team coming to Los Angeles next season, but Raider fans still rallying to get a team back to Southern California. Good evening, everyone. I'm Jory Rand.
I'm Giovanna Lotta. Welcome to Eyewitness News on LA56, LA's only live local newscast at 7 p.m. We begin with that breaking news. 2 New York City police officers were shot and killed execution style as they sat in their patrol car in Brooklyn. The suspect then ran into a subway station and committed suicide. The chaos on the platform caught on camera as police charged in. New York Police Commissioner Bill Bratton has identified the suspect as 28-year-old Ishmael Brinsley. He says Brinsley is suspected of shooting and seriously wounding his girlfriend earlier today in Baltimore, Maryland, before going to New York City. Bratton confirmed the suspect made anti-police posts on his girlfriend's Instagram. This is believed to be one of them. However, Bratton stopped short of determining a motive pending further investigation.
One of the unfortunate aspects sometimes is some people get caught up in these and go in directions they should not. As to whether this individual was part of any of that, part of any demonstrations here in Atlanta where we believe his last residence, that's part of the investigation to determine what has he been doing these last several weeks and trying to put some sanity to the madness that occurred here this afternoon in the streets of Brooklyn.
The shooting comes at an already tense time with months of anti-police protests around the country. The NYPD has recently been at the center of it all following the chokehold death of Eric Garner. This shooting has the potential to complicate the relationship between the public and police even further. Meantime, Los Angeles Police Chief Charlie Back responded to the tragedy on Twitter today, writing, quote, LAPD will wear black mourning band in honor of our fallen brothers, #NYPD. We will continue to monitor this breaking story and bring you details as we get them.
The mother of Eric Garner is now speaking out after another woman filed an application to trademark the phrase, I can't breathe.
Those are our personal words. That's personal with the family. If we want to coin the phrase, we'll do it because we're his family. We don't want anyone making money. We're not making money off the phrase. We weren't even trying to make money off the phrase.
The phrase, I can't breathe, has now become a rallying cry for protesters across the nation. Those were, of course, the last words of Eric Garner before he was choked to death by a New York police officer. Garner's mother is now threatening legal action if the application isn't dropped.
Community members come together today to discuss ways to lessen violent and deadly confrontations between civilians and police officers. They held a meeting at a library on the 6100 block of South Vermont in South Los Angeles. The group says because the current police commission does not have the disciplinary power over officers, one idea they came up with is to give the current police civilian review board those rights.
We're learning more this evening about the 3 people killed in a rollover crash in San Diego County. Today, the victims were identified as 25-year-old Jerson Duran, his 22-year-old wife Edith Duran. Both are from South El Monte. Also killed 21-year-old Yvette Garcia, who is from Los Angeles. Police say the group was traveling to Mexico to attend a memorial service Friday afternoon. Investigators say the tire tread separated from a wheel on their Ford Expedition, causing the SUV to spin out of control and roll onto the northbound lanes of Interstate 15. 3 others, including the couple's 2-year-old daughter, survived the crash.
A woman accused of killing 4 people with her car, including a 6-year-old boy, claims it was all an accident. A vigil was held for the victims last night at St. James Catholic School in Redondo Beach. The group was crossing PCH after a church concert Wednesday when 56-year-old Margot Braunstein slammed into them. In court yesterday, Braunstein entered a plea of not guilty to charges of DUI and vehicular manslaughter. Her attorney urged people not to speculate, saying she does not live her life recklessly.
Well, it was an unexpected wake-up call for folks living at an apartment complex in Brea. The driver of an SUV plowed into the building at about 4 o'clock this morning. Firefighters had to stabilize the building at Live Oak and State College Boulevard. Luckily, no one was injured. It's still clear why the driver crashed or whether any charges will be filed.
An investigation is underway after a man is fatally shot on the 5400 block of Rosemead Boulevard in Pico Rivera. There is very little information. Authorities got the call around 5:20 this morning. When deputies arrived, they found one man with 3 gunshot wounds. Paramedics rushed him to a hospital where he later died. Officials have no suspects.
Police are looking for a suspect who robbed a bank in Seal Beach this morning. The man was recorded on surveillance video. Police say he entered the Chase Bank on Seal Beach Boulevard and gave a note to the teller demanding cash. The suspect is described as about 5 foot 8 inches tall, African American, between 40 and 50 years old, weighing around 140 pounds, partially balding with a graying beard and mustache. Investigators are not saying how much money he made off with. If you have any information about the case, you are asked to call police.
A San Diego judge has dismissed a lawsuit filed by a California couple who had to be rescued at sea with their sick 1-year-old daughter. Eric and Charlotte Kaufman sued their satellite phone company in July, claiming that they would not have lost their boat had they not lost satellite service. Instead, they were forced to sound an alarm to the Coast Guard, which set off a huge rescue effort hundreds of miles off the Mexican coast. The judge ruled the lawsuit against a company called Whenever Communications. He said the lawsuit has to be filed in Florida, where the company's headquarters are located.
A mountain lion caught on camera in a residential backyard. Sherry Kempster says she's lived in her house in Newbury Park for 17 years, but has never had a visitor like this one. She says she was just eating breakfast when she heard crows begin to squawk and looked outside. There, she says, she spotted something walking behind the barbecue.
I saw that it was either a really large dog or a coyote, and then I saw the tail, and I said, oh, that's not a coyote. Yeah. And it came out from behind the barbecue, and I saw the other side, and it was a mountain lion. So at that point, I screamed to my husband, honey, we've got a mountain lion in our backyard.
Kempster says the mountain lion calmly cruised around for a while, giving her a chance to take those amazing photos. Look at that. She says she called 911 and was connected to animal control, but no one answered the line. The mountain lion eventually sauntered off back into the nearby open space.
No good. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell says Los Angeles will not be getting a pro football team next season. As Eyewitness News reporter Amy Powell shows us, some local Raiders fans are rallying for the team's return to SoCal.
Raiders fans sent the message loud and clear. They want their beloved team back in Los Angeles. Hundreds rallied outside Staples Center this afternoon. The Oakland Raiders' lease with its current stadium expires this year. The Raiders, the San Diego Chargers, and the St. Louis Rams can all file a relocation application for the 2015 season starting January 1st. But NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell says no team will be moving to Los Angeles next season.
I thought it was going to be this year. I mean, I was hoping.
Oh, that sucks.
That's in the middle of that's awful. LA needs a team. Yeah. We just drove to San Diego to watch a football game last weekend. We need a team back.
Earlier this week, the Chargers announced that they would be staying in San Diego next season. The NFL believes the focus should be on finding a permanent site for a stadium before a franchise moves to LA. AEG has a plan on the table to build a facility called Farmers Field downtown. Many fans say Los Angeles needs an NFL team.
I'd love to see it back in LA. We need a team back here. I wouldn't say the Rams, but I would like to definitely see a team come back to LA.
I think a football team here would just, really help us out just to get more. It brings revenue as well, but just the spirit within the city would be cool.
Los Angeles will now have to wait until at least 2016 to get an NFL team. In downtown Los Angeles, Amy Powell, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Thank you, Amy. Christmas now just days away. It's not going to be a white Christmas for most of us. It's not going to be a wet Christmas for most of us. So what will Christmas actually be like? We head now to Danny Romero for a first check of the forecast.
My guess, Jory, is going to be a sunscreen Christmas. A lot of sunshine coming our way. A couple things to watch for before it gets here, though. A couple things that advise you about this high surf advisory in effect right now till tomorrow night at 6 p.m. for Ventura County beaches. Down here, LA County beaches in effect till tomorrow morning at 4 a.m. So still pretty much the rest of tonight. High surf 5 to 7 foot sets, some sets in that 8 to 10 foot range. Watch out there. But the real thing to watch now is starting as of now, we've got this wind advisory in effect till tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. for the Ventura County Mountains. For the LA County Mountains, we're looking at winds there till 9 a.m. tomorrow. Again, 35, 40 mile per hour sustained winds, occasional gusts of 60 miles per hour. That's one part of the weather picture. The heat is the other part. I'll tell you about that with a 7-day forecast in just a bit. Giovanna and Jory, all yours.
Danny, thank you. We'll see you then. It's the last weekend before Christmas, and if you haven't done your holiday shopping yet, you are not alone. Today is known as Super Saturday, the busiest shopping day of the year. Eyewitness News reporter Melissa McBride caught up with some anxious shoppers at the Westfield Mall in Century City.
The not-quite-last-minute shoppers are in search of gifts. Some admit they would have usually bought them by now.
It was just so busy this year with work and everything that it just turned out this way this year. I know what I'm looking for, so it should be quick and painless, hopefully.
I'm one of those Christmas Eve people usually, because I actually hate shopping, even though it's my job.
Shopping 5 days before Christmas is actually paying off for a lot of people. Stores are discounting merchandise and customers are getting good deals. It's being called Super Saturday because analysts say shoppers will spend about $10 billion.
We're predicting a Super Saturday that's even bigger than Cyber Monday or Black Friday, and that's because these discounts are going to be so big.
Lauren Miller decided to carry her son and turned her baby stroller into a shopping cart.
I have been shopping for probably 5 people today, and I would say yes, I found everything that I wanted and then some.
Some lucky shoppers got an extra bonus at the Westfield Century City Mall. Elves were surprising people with free gift cards.
We want to present you with a $25 gift card from Westfield Century City. There you are.
For those still looking for items on their list, they still have a few more days before it's really the last minute.
I'm like aiming for today to be it, and hopefully if not, then tomorrow, Sunday, I still have another day. So trying to finish it as soon as I can.
The Westfield Century City Mall would normally be closing at 9 o'clock tonight, but they'll be staying open until 11. Reporting in Century City, I'm Melissa McBride, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Thank you, Melissa. Coming up on Eyewitness News, a wild crash caught on camera.
A FedEx truck slams into a police car in Georgia. We'll show you the dramatic video. Plus this.
If you have any kind of a wireless device, you're always looking for a Wi-Fi hotspot. They're usually in buildings. Now you can find them in cars. I'm car specialist Dave Coons. The growing number of vehicles that have 3G and even 4G Wi-Fi on board. That story coming up.
A FedEx truck slams into a police car in Georgia, and it's all caught on camera. You can see the officer getting out of his vehicle to make a traffic stop. When he returns to his car, the truck smashes into his cruiser. The driver of the truck had to be extricated after it flipped over. No word yet on his condition. The police officer was not seriously injured. Officials say the truck driver failed to stay in his lane.
Yes, he did. The truck also said that as well. More than 24 people were rushed to the hospital after a double-decker bus crashed in southern Indiana this morning. State troopers say the megabus rolled over on Interstate 65 near Seymour, southeast of Indianapolis. That bus was carrying about 70 passengers from Chicago to Atlanta. Police believe wintry weather there and speed may have contributed to the crash, but say the accident is still under investigation.
I bet someone asked Santa for sunshine for Christmas, because we're getting
And they get early Christmas presents.
There you go.
I want to know how they do that.
Thank you,
I don't know.
If you can get your
Are
presents
you
early.
Santa?
Well, no, not yet anyway, but I can work on that. Here's the story. We've got ourselves some sunshine as ordered, if indeed you did, because it's going to warm up quite nicely right up to Christmas Day. We go outside right now and take a look here in the 7 o'clock hour. Let's swing our HD camera over to Burbank, and there the valley is looking pretty good. We're seeing things turn around quite nicely from the colder, wetter weather we had only a few days ago to some now dry, warm weather, even more so coming our way. Downtown skies partly clear right now and 59 degrees, certainly cooler, 81% relative humidity. Today, the normal temp is 67. Only got to 64 downtown today. That coolness getting ready to stop pretty soon. Some gorgeous sunsets at 4:47. Tomorrow morning sunrise at 6:55. Here's the change in our weather. There's that trough of low pressure with the rain and the cold that it had, now making its way out. Moving forward now tonight into tomorrow. Now we see this ridge of high pressure. This is our next weather maker making its way into place. It's a strong ridge of high pressure, which means circulation around that high pushes everything offshore. We get much warmer conditions. Temps are going to jump up near 80 degrees during Christmas week ahead of us, and nighttime numbers certainly on the colder side. But then right about Christmas Day, Christmas night, we're going to see another low move in, bringing us some more clouds and a cool down. But certainly leading up to the holiday, nice and sunny and warm during the daytime. Numbers cool, 37 Lancaster, 38 Frazier Park, 50 in Ventura overnight. And then tomorrow, a cool but sunny 69 for Santa Clarita, 67 for Simi Valley. Inglewood gets to 68 degrees. Covina, 71. Wrightwood to 54. San Bernardino to 72. Now the 7-day power back weather showing you the warming coming our way. Mostly sunny tomorrow, 70. Jumping to 75. Another bump up to 79. The warmest day on Tuesday. Christmas Eve day, sunny and clear and 74. Here comes the clouds and cooler weather into the weekend. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, temps go to the upper 60s, low 70 mark. For the valleys, Inland Empire, mostly sunny skies, rising temps to 80 degrees by Tuesday, still mid-70s on Wednesday. The clouds and cooler on Christmas night, 69 and temps in the 60s right through into the weekend. For the beaches, partly cloudy skies tomorrow. Here comes the sun for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. 70s on the coast at Christmas time. By Christmas night, the clouds come back in, temps drop back down to the 60s. Our mountain areas will be cool, breezy with some winds kicking up Monday and Tuesday especially. Could see 50, 60 mile per hour gusts in some mountain passes. Still mostly sunny on Christmas Eve night, good for Santa sleighing. And then Thursday, clouds come in, temps fall back down to the 40s, but overnight numbers in the mountains pretty cold, down to 20s, some spots into the teens. As we look to the high desert, cool and breezy to start, and then sunny with some winds kicking up a little bit more and temps in the 60s to get the week started. And as we head towards the weekend and after Santa's done with his work, temperatures cool down, highs to the 50s, taking us into Thursday, Friday, and Saturday as well. There you go, sunshine on the way.
Thank you, Danny.
Yep. Thanks. A heads up for drivers heading north on the 405 near Encino. The northbound 405 will be closed for maintenance just before the 101 interchange tonight. Traffic will be diverted to the 101. Drivers can also exit onto Sepulveda Boulevard at the Ventura Boulevard exit. Work is scheduled to be done by early morning. The freeway will reopen at 5 a.m.
No more looking for a coffee place or other building that's sending out a Wi-Fi internet signal. Your car itself is a hotspot. Car specialist Dave Coons shows us some of the new models offering Wi-Fi connectivity.
This is a Wi-Fi hotspot. This too is a Wi-Fi hotspot, and so is this. And now this is also a Wi-Fi hotspot.
This screen shows the information needed to wirelessly connect your device to the internet using your Wi-Fi hotspot.
Yes, this new Buick LaCrosse has a built-in 4G wireless internet connection. General Motors offers it on most of its 2015 models. wireless connectivity for up to 7 devices using an external broadband card as the access to the 4G internet connection. Wi-Fi in the car isn't really new. Audi started putting 3G hotspot connection into its vehicles several years back. But GM says it's offering the widest variety of vehicles with the service, from compact cars to full-size pickups. Obviously, Wi-Fi isn't for whoever's in the driver's seat unless the car is parked, but the real benefit to having it in the car is for your passengers. Co-workers can get things done while on a business trip, or your kids in the back seat, they can connect their video games or their music devices. As with any wireless connection, speeds will vary, and if you have everyone in the car all trying to download big files at the same time, things are going to slow down. But as cars become more connected to the internet, it only makes sense to let people in the car connect as well. Right now, General Motors is including 3 months of the 4G service free. Then customers have to sign up with AT&T for a service plan. The best deal is for people with an existing AT&T broadband account. They can add their new GM Vehicles hotspot for only $10 a month. Or subscribers to the OnStar plan can add the hotspot service for an additional $5 per month. The real advantage for people on the go is to not have to find a place to pull up and see if there's a Wi-Fi signal. Now, almost any place you go is a hotspot. Dave Coons, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
That sounds pretty cool. Yeah, we're still a few days away from Christmas, but it was tough to tell today at a couple of Southern California locations.
Still to come, we'll take you to a pair of very special toy giveaways and show you the faces of the very happy children.
Plus, a Wisconsin woman gets a surprise from her son she'll never forget. We'll show you their emotional reunion. Christmas came early for some families in need in Riverside and San Bernardino counties.
Today they lined up bright and early for toys donated from our Spark of Love toy drive. Eyewitness News reporter Dasha Phillips has the story.
You guys were, oh, whoa, Joy, are you kidding?
Every year, millions of toys are donated through the Spark of Love toy drive.
They came out and they stored these toys for you guys.
And here is where some of those toys go. Dolls, bikes, scooters, trucks were all handed out to needy families.
I'll take it here, hide it in the garage, wrap it, and then put it under the tree when Santa comes.
Over 2,000 people were in line this morning in Ontario to receive the toys.
We do it for the kids, and that's the most important thing of all. I was a poor little kid, and anytime that I can give back to my community, I enjoy it, and it makes me feel really good.
Families from Riverside and San Bernardino County qualify for the toy distribution based on their need, and so many families are grateful their kids will have something under the tree this Christmas.
Bye.
In Ontario, I'm Darsha Phillips, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Christmas also came early for hundreds of kids today in Orange County. The First Presbyterian Church of Fullerton became a distribution center to hand out brand new donated toys and gifts to children who might not otherwise get anything this holiday season. Volunteers say the look on the kids' faces make all their hard work well worth it.
You ought to see these children just light up with things that you wouldn't normally think would excite a child, a small gift, a token. And they are so happy to have it, and they leave here with smiles. So we're having a great time volunteering and being able to see the excitement in the kids' faces as they receive their gifts for this Christmas.
I get to see the families here pick out the gifts for their kids, and it kind of like warms my heart.
Volunteers say over 1,500 kids received gifts today at the station. And a big thank you to everyone who has donated to our Spark of Love toy drive. Your generosity has been simply amazing. There are still ways to help, though. You can still drop off donations at any local fire station until December 24th. Just go to abc7.com/sparkoflove for more information.
And just in time for Christmas, a Wisconsin woman got the perfect gift.
She really did. It was a surprise that she'll probably never forget.
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh!
Naval Officer Bryce Rasek, I'm sorry, I got caught up in the video. He surprised his mom while she was eating at a restaurant. They hadn't seen each other in almost 2 years while he was in the Persian Gulf. Rasek's mother was told he wouldn't be able to come home for Christmas this year, but the naval officer had been planning the reunion for months.
She just started crying. I wasn't really prepared for that. I was a little concerned she might actually have a heart attack.
Rasek's mother couldn't control her emotions and just kept touching her son to make sure he was really there.
Love that. Wow.
So good.
That is great. We are updating our top stories at 7:30, plus the latest in the Sony hacking scandal.
North Korea is firing back against U.S. accusations that they are behind the cyber attack on Sony pictures.
And we now know the identities of some of the suspects involved in a shooting that severely injured a teenage girl in Palmdale.
Plus, police are hoping surveillance video will help them track down a man who snatched a purse from a 94-year-old woman.
This is Eyewitness News on LA56 with live breaking news.
Our top story at 7:30, 2 New York City police officers are gunned down in broad daylight. I'm Giovanna Lotta.
I'm Jory Rand. This is Eyewitness News on LA56, LA's only live local newscast at 7:30 p.m. The officers were shot and killed execution style as they sat in their patrol car in Brooklyn. The suspect, identified as 28-year-old Ishmael Brinsley, who then ran into a subway station and committed suicide. Authorities say Brinsley is suspected of shooting and seriously wounding his girlfriend earlier today in Baltimore, Maryland. Officials say the suspect made anti-police posts on his girlfriend's Instagram account.
A mountain lion caught on camera in a residential backyard. Check out these photos taken by a Newbury Park woman. The homeowner says the mountain lion calmly cruised around for a while, giving her time to shoot these amazing pictures. She says she called 911 and was connected to animal control, but no one answered. The mountain lion eventually sauntered away back into the nearby open space.
North Korea is denying responsibility in the Sony hack attack, but U.S. intelligence officials insist that's simply a smokescreen. Sony was about to release their comedy about a plot to assassinate North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. The movie, The Interview, has now been pulled from theaters, but as ABC's Bonzi Kanani reports, we may get to see it after all.
They claim they didn't do it, but North Korea says it wants to help the United States find out who's behind the massive hack attack on Sony. On state-controlled television, the North government proposed a joint investigation with serious consequences if Washington refuses. The Interview was supposed to open Christmas Day, but this was the film's surprise ending as Sony pulled the plug in the face of cyber threats vowing violence. That drew a thumbs down from the critic-in-chief.
Yes, I think they made a mistake.
You want us to kill the leader of North Korea?
Yes. What? Sony says it had to cancel distribution of The Interview because theaters were refusing to show it.
If there actually were any violence, the liability for Sony and for the exhibitor, for the theater owner, would have been enormous.
Now, Sony's CEO, speaking with CNN's Fareed Zakaria, says he will release The Interview, just not in theaters.
We have not given in, we have persevered, and we have not backed down.
The FBI says North Korea intended to inflict significant harm on a U.S. business and rendered thousands of Sony computers inoperable. So what's next?
And we'll respond in a place and time and manner that we choose.
Friday, the hacker sent a new message threatening more mayhem if the film is ever released, distributed, or leaked in any form. One thing's for sure, The Interview won't be coming soon to a theater near you. Bonzi Kanani, ABC News, Washington.
And Danny Romero now, he's got a look at your forecast. Hey there, Danny.
Hey, Giovanna and Jory, what a gorgeous Saturday night over Southern California and a beautiful view. Jay at the controls getting a great shot of Disneyland live. Wow. When the park dressed up for the holidays, it looks gorgeous. It truly is kind of that fairy tale come to life. Temperatures feeling very holiday-ish on the cool side. 47 right now in Riverside, 49 in Hemet. We're still in the 50s in Ontario and Burbank at 54 and 57. Santa Monica out at the coast, pretty nice. A few clouds trying to roll in on the coastal spots. 59 in Santa Monica, 59 in Oxnard as well. As we move through tonight, we'll see mostly clear skies, 52, but then some warm up on the way. I'll tell you about that when I come back with a 7-day in just a bit. Jory and Giovanna, go ahead.
Danny, thanks. A teenage girl remains in extremely critical condition tonight after a car-to-car shooting in Palmdale. It happened yesterday near 17th Street East and Avenue R. 20-year-old Jaime Espinoza and 21-year-old Fernando Albaran were both booked at Palmdale Station on attempted murder charges. They're being held on $500,000 bail. A third person detained has now been released pending further investigation. The 14-year-old girl was shot in the back of the head. The driver of the car suffered minor injuries from shattered glass. Authorities say the shooting appears to be gang-related. A man was shot and killed in Watts overnight. LAPD now looking for his killers. It happened just after midnight near South 110th Street and Wilmington Avenue. Investigators say the man was standing outside when he was approached by two men in their early 20s who fired several rounds at him. Police are looking for the suspect seen running from the area. No word yet on a possible motive.
Police need your help tracking down a man who snatched a purse from a 94-year-old woman. The victim is the grandmother of LA City Councilman Joe Buscaino. You can see on surveillance video the man here following the woman out of a store in Wilmington, then grabbing her purse and taking off on a skateboard. The suspect is described as a Latino man in his 20s with black hair and a mustache, about 5 feet 6 inches tall and weighing 150 to 180 pounds. He was wearing a black shirt, black camouflage shorts, and possibly has a tattoo on his left forearm.
In Northern California, a CHP officer is in the hospital with major injuries after a teenager attacked him with a machete. The CHP says the officer had stopped to help the boy who had just hit a telephone pole. They say the attack was sudden and violent. The officer tried to block the blow but suffered injuries to his arm, hand, and face. After shooting the teen, he managed to lock himself in his patrol car and call for backup. Another officer found the teen lying naked next to his car and acting erratically. The CHP says despite attempts to save him, that teen died at the scene.
Hundreds gathered on the beach in San Clemente today, fighting to keep a San Clemente hospital open. Protesters formed a human SOS on the sand. They say the hospital is crucial, especially for its elderly community. But Memorial Care Health System says the small hospital is seeing fewer patients. Critics say closing the Saddleback San Clemente ER would leave a 40-mile gap between Missions Hospital ER in Mission Viejo and Tri-City Hospital's ER in Oceanside. Protesters hope their message will be heard.
A Christmas-time crime fit for a Grinch this weekend in Northern California. Thieves steal Christmas from 100 families in need. The Salvation Army says someone broke into a strip mall holding donations Thursday night in Marysville and made off with hundreds of toys and clothes set to be handed out to children in need. Still, volunteers not giving up on the holiday spirit.
More Legos and Hot Wheels type toys to play with and just sell some presents on Christmas Day.
Hopefully over the next weekend with donors helping us with putting money in the red kettle, we'll recoup these toys.
The Salvation Army is hoping to collect enough money and toys to make up for all of those stolen items.
4 Guantanamo Bay detainees are back in Afghanistan. The men were transferred as part of a joint effort with the government there. Their release is in line with the federal government's ongoing effort to close the detention facility at Guantanamo Bay. More than 130 people are still detained at Guantanamo. That's way down from the numbers soon after the September 11th attacks.
So a cat stuck in a tree for days.
Poor guy. Still to come on Eyewitness News, we'll show you the rescue effort it took to bring the cat to safety.
And the spirit of the holiday season alive and well on LA's Skid Row. We'll show you how some special characters help put some smiles on a lot of kids' faces. How about a little meow this Christmas time? The LA County firemen and Southern California Edison workers helped rescue a cat from a tree in Whittier today. That cat had apparently been up in the tree for 3 days. Still not clear if the cat belongs to a neighbor, but the lady who lives at the home where the cat climbed the tree says she wants to adopt it if no one comes to claim it. LA County Animal Control is letting her keep the cat for now and will follow up later to make sure that the cat has been vaccinated.
This weekend, the California Department of Veterans Affairs is doing everything it can to make sure local vets are taken care of. Today, homeless and at-risk veterans were invited to the Los Angeles Convention Center for food, clothing, showers, and health care. It's all part of the Veteran Stand Down event, which provides former servicemen and women relief from life on the streets and helps them transition into mainstream society. City Councilman Curran Price says it's a way to celebrate our veterans and give back to them.
Veterans have played an important part in our community. We want to make sure that they're working. We want to make sure that they get homes, that they're housed, that they have the health services, all of the services that they are entitled to, not just themselves, but for their families as well.
Councilman Price says this is an event he wants to make sure happens every year. As many as 2,000 former military men and women are expected to attend the 3-day event.
The spirit of Christmas came alive on LA's Skid Row today as thousands of children received bags full of toys. The Fred Jordan Mission treated about 10,000 impoverished kids to its 70th annual Christmas toy party. Each child received at least 3 new toys packed specifically for them, along with candy, food, and other goodies. Disney volunteers were on hand to help, along with Goofy and Donald, and of course Santa and Mrs. Claus on hand as well.
There's much more news to come, including another look at your weekend weather.
Here's a live look outside at Disneyland tonight. Danny Romero is in next with a look at your full forecast.
And coming up in sports, Kentucky shocked, then awed UCLA. See how the #1 team in the land orchestrated a Bruin beatdown.
Let it snow. Just take a look at the scene this weekend in Boreal up in the Sierra, where a wintry storm dumped a fresh batch of white powder on the slopes. Local mountain resorts report they've received 12 inches of new snow in the last 24 hours, which has skiers and snowboarders rejoicing. Boreal Mountain Resort says all trails, lifts, and activities are now 100% open.
Danny, that looks good.
It really does.
Do we have that much snow locally?
No. We have some, and machines are making more.
Yeah.
Nighttime numbers will be cold enough to keep it there. But then the sun's coming with a lot of heat. Might be questionable right about Christmas Eve or so. But things change again. A couple of changes. I'll show you that. We'll start out first by going outside and taking a look at a couple of things that are cooking right now as far as the weather is concerned. A couple of advisories I want you to know about. First, let's talk about the advisories on the coast. We are seeing Ventura County and L County here in the LA County in the purple colors here under heavy high surf advisory until tomorrow 6 p.m. for Ventura County, until tomorrow morning 4 a.m. for LA County beaches. 5 to 7 foot sets, some sets up to 10 feet are possible. The winds now kicking in, so a wind advisory in effect for Ventura County mountains till Monday morning 6 a.m. for the LA County mountains until Monday morning 6 a.m. as well. These will be winds in that 25, 45 mile per hour range, sustained in those occasional gusts, 50, even 60 miles per hour. Now, outside we go. Laguna Beach HD camera showing the coast looking pretty good here on this picture. Our downtown skyline looking great. Cool, though, 59 degrees, 81% relative humidity. All the clouds we're going to see next couple of days, just basically high clouds from all the moisture weather action to our north, bringing some of that snow we just showed you. But all that moisture staying northwest. We're just going to get some clouds out of this. But what's going to change our weather will be a ridge of high pressure that moves in. And when that ridge moves in, right about tomorrow and then Monday, things warm up dramatically. Watch the numbers here in a second. Here's our temps for tonight. Down to the 40s and 50s in most spots. Colder in Fraser Park and Lancaster in the 30s. Highs tomorrow. Cool in 62 in Lancaster, 69 Santa Clarita, a little more sunshine for Glendale at 71. We'll see Pasadena go to 70. Hello, West Covina, 71 for you tomorrow, 72 for San Bernardino. Now watch the numbers go up, up, up on our 7-day power by AccuWeather. We're going 70 tomorrow, bumping to 75, up to 79, the warmest day on Tuesday. As we head towards Christmas Eve day, sunny and clear in 74. Here comes the cooler air and the clouds for Christmas night and into Friday and Saturday. Temps still pretty nice, though, but upper 60s, low 70s, also as opposed to that near 80-degree mark. Valley's Inland Empire will get to 80 by the hottest day on Tuesday, warming up all the way through. Mostly sunny skies for Wednesday, and then Christmas night, the clouds and cooler weather starts to move in and take us into the weekend. Beach areas, you're going to love this, Giovanna. Partly cloudy tomorrow, but then look at this. Monday, Tuesday to the 70s, staying there on Wednesday as well, and then the clouds and cooler temps on the way in for Christmas night and to the weekend. Mountain spots, cool and breezy, stronger winds Monday into Tuesday, 50, 60 mile per hour gusts, very possible. And then as we head towards the Christmas night, we're going to see the clouds and cooler temps drop the numbers down to the low 40s by Friday at 42 for the high, but overnight lows really cold, down to 20s. High deserts, cool and breezy with the conditions getting up to winds gusting to 40 miles per hour and the daytime numbers to the 60s until we get to Christmas night. And then as Santa sits down with his well-deserved cup of cocoa, it'll be cool and 50s for the highs and then 30s for the lows in the desert. There we go.
Danny, I really hope that gift Santa's hoping isn't fragile. Because if it is broken by now.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Thank you, Danny.
He's active.
Thanks, Danny. And with so many people receiving phones and tablets as holiday gifts, we want to remind you about all the ABC7 apps that you can download as soon as you open your new devices.
You'll get weather alerts and warnings, live interactive radar that you can use to pinpoint your location and much more. You can go to abc7.com/apps for info on how to download. And by the way, we also have attached a downloadable app gift card. It's really cool. Here's how it works. You download it, print it, sign it, and then put it in stockings for a free gift of ABC7 apps.
Cool. Kurt's here now. I know what Danny wants for Christmas. A basketball team.
It's not very often we lead with boat racing, Danny. One of the schools has the most wins in NCAA history, and the other has the most NCAA titles at 11. UCLA with the one with the titles, Kentucky the one with the winning percentage. Clearly royalty on the menu in Chicago. The gulf between the Bruins and the Wildcats, dare I say, huge. Cats have Aaron Harrison. Kid hit from here. He was hitting from there. He was hitting from here. Look at the distance on that shot. No wonder they're up 16-0. Moments later, UCLA turning it over. You see the score there? 22-0. Make it 24-0. It took nearly 8 minutes, but finally UCLA got on the board. Their young freshman, Kevon Looney, banking it in, and with that, well, they got on the board, but they lost bad, 83-44. Kentucky a perfect 12-0 number one. Saturday pigskin in the nation's capital. Alfred Morris delivering a haymaker to the Eagles' playoff hopes when he goes 28 yards into the paint. They look like world beaters, the Redskins, even though they only had won 4 games. But here comes Mark Sanchez, the prod out of Mission Viejo High School with the touchdown. Mark threw for 374, but he also had 2 picks, and with the game tied, that might seal his fate as a backup in the NFL, because the Redskins came down the field and UCLA's own Kai Forbath out of Sherman Oaks Notre Dame High School gives them the boot, and Washington stuns Philadelphia 27-24. Meantime, congratulations to Lindsey Vonn. A year ago, she tore her ACL and she was off the slopes for the Olympics. But today, on that same mountain in France, she won her 2nd consecutive downhill. It's her 61st career World Cup win. And finally today, the Kings and Coyotes on the matinee ice at Staples Center. Pretty goal by the veteran Jeff Carter there, and it's 1-0. But Jonathan Quick gave up a pair of second-period goals. As it turns out, this one deflected twice off a stick, and Daryl Sutter knows that's almost impossible to stop. But watch Alec Martinez, number 27. Remember, he was the guy who won the final game in the playoff Stanley Cup for the Kings, and he does it again today as they take it 4-2. They had a tough roadie, but they've now won 2 straight at home, 7th position.
Yeah, that face, by the way, was Daryl Sutter angry. It was also Daryl Sutter excited,
happy,
amused, frightened.
All the emotions
sleeping.
in one face.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. New tonight on Eyewitness News at 11 on ABC7. An elderly couple has disappeared from their Laguna Woods home. What police are doing to try and track them down? And boxing great Muhammad Ali has been hospitalized. We'll tell you why. Those stories and all the late-breaking news on Southern California's #1 newscast. That's Eyewitness News at 11 on ABC7.
Madonna gives fans an early Christmas present.
Still to come on Eyewitness News, some new music from the Material Girl is now available on iTunes. Find out what led to the early release.
President Obama is in Hawaii tonight, the start of his annual winter getaway on the island where he was born. The first family arrived overnight, heading straight to their vacation rental in the seaside town of Kailua. They spent most of the day enjoying some quiet time at home. The president does not have any public events scheduled, but will likely be seen around the island hiking, dining out, and golfing before returning to Washington in early January.
Good news if you're planning a holiday road trip. Gas prices have dropped below $2 in 24 states. Overnight, a gallon of regular was going for $2.39 at this station in San Bernardino. At most other stations in the Inland Empire, regular is about $2.74. People in the LA, Long Beach area are paying $2.79. It's $2.76 in Orange County, and in Ventura, regular is going for $2.76.
The Hobbit, The Battle of the Five Armies, is selling more tickets this weekend than movie analysts had predicted and will end up the year as a top 5 movie. According to Variety.com, the movie grossed $16.6 million on Friday alone. That's on track for a $54 million weekend and an $88 million gate since it opened on Wednesday.
In the surprise preview of her new album, Madonna today released 6 songs on iTunes and various streaming services. Madonna's publicist says the songs were released because several in-progress demos were leaked earlier this week. Additional tracks are scheduled to be released on February 9th, with the full Rebel Heart album set for release in March. Madonna says she would prefer her fans hear completed versions of the songs rather than the incomplete tracks now making the rounds. She says she wanted fans to consider the songs an early Christmas gift.
A chocolate bar is hard enough to resist, but now Hershey's is taking your chocolate experience to another level. The company has started developing some sweet technology. You are looking at a 3D chocolate candy printing in action. There are plenty of unique chocolate items you can create, including candy bars with your own face on them. In the future, you'll be able to take a photo and turn it into a printable chocolate image, and just imagine printing a chocolate bust of yourself.
And then eating it.
Yeah. Eating it yourself.
That's a lot of chocolate. Thanks for joining us for Eyewitness News at 7 here on LA56. LA56 Weekend Theater is next.
Danny wants to get the ink all over his hands.
He wants a three-dimensional Romero.
That's right. News continues at 11 p.m. on ABC7 at any time on ABC7.com. For all of us here at ABC7, have a great night.